You know, people often say, you can't have everything in life. But what if I told you that's a lie told by people who stopped trying too early? Because the truth is, you can get whatever you want, not because life is fair, but because life listens to those who don't stop knocking. Most people wake up every morning, rush into their routines, and chase something they can't even name. They say they want success, but what does that really mean? A car, a business, freedom, respect. The problem isn't that people don't dream. The problem is they don't define their dreams. They spend years running, hustling, competing, but never stop to ask themselves, where am I actually going? It's like running a marathon without knowing where the finish line is. You can be the fastest runner in the world, but if you're running in the wrong direction, you'll never win. Clarity is not a luxury, it's the foundation. Without it, you end up living a life that looks successful on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. When you truly know what you want, every decision becomes easier. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop comparing yourself to others because you finally have your own scoreboard. That's when life starts to align. But here's the hard truth. Most people never reach that point because clarity requires honesty. It demands you to sit with yourself and strip away all the noise. Your parents' expectations, your friends' opinions, society's version of success. It's uncomfortable because when you take away everyone else's voice, you're left alone with your own. And that's where the real questions begin. What do you want to wake up for? What makes you lose track of time? What makes your heart race? These questions sound simple, but they change everything. Let me tell you something. Life doesn't reward those who work the hardest. It rewards those who know where they're going. You can work 16 hours a day and still be broke, still be unhappy, still be lost, because hard work without direction is just movement without progress. Look around, so many people are busy, but very few are effective. They're proud of being tired, but tiredness is not an achievement. Focus is. The most powerful people in the world aren't those who do the most. They're the ones who do the right things. And the right things can only be seen when your vision is clear. You don't need 1,000 goals. You just need one crystal clear purpose that pulls you out of bed every morning. Getting that clarity, however, is not instant. It's a process. You have to try things, fail at them, and learn from them. You have to listen to yourself more than you listen to others. You have to say no more often to opportunities, to people, even to comfort. Every no you say is like cleaning the windshield of your car so you can finally see where you're going. Sometimes you'll think you know what you want, and then life will surprise you. That's fine. Clarity evolves. It's not about having every detail figured out. It's about knowing your direction, even when the path is uncertain. You can change your plans, but never lose sight of your purpose. That's your North Star. Here's something most people don't realize. The moment you define exactly what you want, the universe starts moving things around you. It doesn't hand you success. It simply opens your eyes to opportunities you couldn't see before. When you know what you're looking for, suddenly you start meeting the right people, noticing the right doors, hearing the right advice. It's like tuning a radio. When you're off frequency, all you hear is noise. But once you tune in, the message is crystal clear. That's what clarity does. It doesn't make life easier. It makes it obvious. You start recognizing what belongs to your story and what doesn't. And here's the final truth. Clarity is a choice. It's not something you wait for. It's something you create. You create it by asking hard questions and by daring to be honest with yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. It might mean admitting that the job you're in isn't right for you, that the dream you've been chasing isn't really yours. That's scary. But it's also freeing, because once you let go of what doesn't belong to you, you make room for what does. And when you finally know what you truly want, you don't need motivation anymore. You don't need someone to push you or remind you. Your goal becomes your fuel. You wake up with a different fire inside you, one that doesn't fade when things get hard, because it's built on purpose, not pressure. You know what stops most people from getting what they want? It's not fear. It's not lack of opportunity. It's not even failure. It's the illusion of readiness. People keep waiting to feel ready before they start. They say, I'll start when I have enough money, when I have the right skills, when I know more, when the timing is perfect. But here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. You will never feel ready. And if you keep waiting for that magical feeling of readiness, you'll die waiting. The world doesn't reward people who are ready. It rewards people who begin, even if they look stupid doing it, especially if they look stupid doing it. Think about it. Every great idea, every successful business, every invention that changed the world began with someone who didn't fully know what they were doing. The first step always looks foolish from the outside. The person who starts a business with no experience, artist who paints with no training, the student who applies for a job they're not qualified for. They all look a little crazy until they win. And when they win, the same people who once laughed start clapping. That's the irony of life. First they laugh at you, then they admire you, then they ask how you did it. So if people are laughing at your dreams right now, it means you're doing something they're too scared to try. Here's the problem with being too smart. You see too many problems before they even happen. You overthink. You predict failure before you've even started. And that paralyzes you. Smart people often talk themselves out of great ideas. They say, what if it doesn't work? The foolish person says, what if it does? The difference between the two isn't intelligence, it's courage. Being stupid enough to start doesn't mean you act without thinking. It means you act before fear convinces you not to. You don't need the whole map before you take the first step. You just need enough faith to start walking. And the rest of the path will reveal itself as you move. Starting before you're ready is like jumping into cold water. The first few seconds are uncomfortable. Your body tenses up. Your mind screams, get out. But after a moment, you adjust. You realize it's not that bad. That's what starting feels like. The hardest part isn't the work. It's the beginning. It's convincing yourself to take the leap. Because once you're in, momentum takes over. You learn faster, adapt faster, and grow faster than you ever could by standing on the shore thinking about it. Every master was once a beginner who took that uncomfortable first step. Nobody starts perfect. Nobody starts confident. Confidence is not the requirement, it's the reward. Let me tell you something powerful. Your first attempt doesn't have to be great. It just has to exist. Because once it exists, you can improve it. You can't edit an idea that never left your head. You can't improve a dream you never tried. But once you start, even if it's messy, even if it's awkward, you create something real. And real things can grow. Think of it like planting a seed. The seed doesn't look impressive. It's small, ugly, buried in dirt. But with time, water, and care, it becomes a tree. Most people never plant the seed because they're too busy designing the perfect garden on paper. The stupid ones just plant it. And that's why they have something to water. Starting before you're ready also means being brave enough to look bad for a while. And that's where most people stop. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to fail publicly. They want to succeed privately as if success comes without mistakes. But it doesn't. Every great person has a history of embarrassment. They failed publicly. They looked foolish. They got it wrong. But they stayed in the game long enough to get it right. If you're too proud to be bad at something, you'll never be good at anything. Humility is the price of progress. Every time you make a mistake, life is simply teaching you a shortcut for next time. And here's the funny thing. You'll realize after you start that most of what you were afraid of doesn't even matter. The things you thought would destroy, you barely leave a scratch. The things you thought were impossible start to look achievable. You start to build momentum, confidence, and resilience. That's how progress feels not perfect, but powerful. People often say, what if I fail? But what if you never start? What if, years from now, you look back and realize you were capable all along, you just never gave yourself the chance? The pain of failure fades, but the pain of regret doesn't. So be foolish enough to take the first step. Be naive enough to believe it can work. Be brave enough to start before you're ready. Because readiness is not a feeling, it's a result. You become ready by starting. You grow into your dreams, not before them. The people who get what they want in life aren't the ones who have the perfect plan. They're the ones who are stupid enough to start when others are still thinking about it. You know what separates those who rise from those who remain stuck? It's not luck, not background, not even opportunity. It's learning. The world doesn't belong to the strongest anymore. It belongs to those who learn the fastest. Every problem you'll ever face in life has already been solved by someone, somewhere. The difference between you and them is not intelligence, it's information. Most people stop learning the day they leave school. They think learning is something you do when you're young. But learning is not a phase, it's a weapon. And the people who treat it that way win in every generation, in every industry, in every game. The world you live in today changes faster than ever. Technology evolves, trends disappear overnight, industries rise and collapse in a matter of years. What worked 5 years ago might be useless today. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. And the scariest part is, you won't even notice it happening. The moment you stop growing, the world quietly moves past you. You wake up one day and realize your skills don't matter anymore, your knowledge is outdated, and your confidence is gone. Learning isn't optional anymore, it's survival. You either evolve or you evaporate. But let me tell you the real secret. Learning is not just about reading books or listening to lectures. It's about being curious enough to explore what others ignore. It's about asking questions most people are afraid to ask. It's about watching someone better than you and studying how they do it. You can learn from success, but you'll learn twice as much from failure, especially your own. Every mistake you make carries a hidden lesson, and if you ignore it, you'll repeat it. The smartest people in the world are not those who never fail. They're those who never waste a failure. They extract lessons like gold, store them, and build stronger strategies next time. You have to make learning a habit, not an event. Don't just learn when things go wrong. Learn even when they're going right, because that's when most people get lazy. They succeed once and start believing they've figured it out. But knowledge expires. What you know today is only valuable if you keep updating it. That's why you should read every day, observe every day, ask questions every day. You don't need to be a genius, you just need to be a sponge. The more you absorb, the more powerful you become. Every book you read, every experience you collect, every person you talk to, it's like adding tools to your toolbox. When life throws problems at you, you don't panic because you have the tools to fix them. You also need to learn difficult things. Don't just chase comfort learning. Everyone loves learning things that come easy, but real growth happens when you face subjects that scare you, confuse you, or bore you. That's where your brain expands. That's where the magic happens. The knowledge that feels uncomfortable today is the same knowledge that will save you tomorrow. Think about it. The person who learns finance controls their future. The person who learns communication influences others. The person who learns technology builds the future. Learning isn't about collecting information. It's about collecting power. And don't underestimate the power of learning from people. The fastest way to grow is to surround yourself with people smarter than you. Be humble enough to listen, even if it bruises your ego. Ask questions that make you look inexperienced, because the more you ask, the faster you'll stop being inexperienced. Don't fake knowledge. Don't pretend to know. Pretending stops progress. Real learners aren't afraid to look like beginners because they know the beginner today becomes the master tomorrow. Remember, this pride keeps you ignorant, but curiosity makes you unstoppable. Learning like your life depends on it also means unlearning. Sometimes the most powerful step forward is letting go of what used to work. The world changes, but people don't. They keep using the same methods, the same mindset, the same habits, and wonder why nothing changes. What helped you survive yesterday might destroy you tomorrow. So don't just add knowledge, update it. Delete old beliefs that don't serve you anymore. Replace outdated lessons with new wisdom. The person who can unlearn quickly can adapt to anything. That's how you stay relevant. And here's something few people talk about. Learning isn't always fun. It's frustrating. It's lonely. It makes you feel stupid sometimes. But that's the price of greatness. Growth always feels uncomfortable because you're stretching beyond who you were. That discomfort you feel when you don't understand something, that's not a sign to quit. It's a sign that you're expanding. You're breaking the limits of what you know. Keep going. keep pushing. Because once your mind expands, it never goes back to its old size. Once you see more, you can never unsee it. That's the real beauty of learning. It permanently changes who you are. When you learn like your life depends on it, you stop being afraid of challenges. You look at every difficulty and think, what can this teach me? You stop feeling threatened by people who are better than you. You start studying them. You stop complaining about what you don't know, and you start chasing it. Because the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop earning respect, opportunity, growth, everything. You can lose everything in life, but if you never stop learning, you can rebuild it all again. Because knowledge is the only thing that truly makes you free. Let me tell you something most people never understand. Rejection is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every person you admire today, every success story you've ever heard, every breakthrough in business, art, or life, it's built on a mountain of rejections. But the problem is, we've been trained to fear rejection since childhood. We were taught that no means you're not good enough, not ready, not capable. So what do most people do? They stop trying the moment someone says no. They take rejection as a reflection of their worth instead of a redirection of their path. But the truth is, rejection is not a dead end. It's a detour, a powerful one, if you know how to use it. Think about it. When someone rejects you, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means they couldn't see what you see yet. You might have a vision, a dream, a plan that's too big for their imagination. Maybe your timing was off. Maybe the opportunity wasn't right. Maybe you weren't ready yet. But none of that means you're wrong. Rejection simply means not yet. And not yet is a beautiful phrase. It leaves space for growth. It leaves room for comeback. The people who get whatever they want in life are not the ones who avoid rejection. They're the ones who build a friendship with it. They expect it, embrace it, and learn from it. The problem is, most people take rejection personally. They let it break their confidence. They hear no once and immediately start doubting themselves. But here's the truth: the world isn't against you. It's just testing you. It wants to see how serious you are. If a single no is enough to stop you, you didn't want it badly enough. Every rejection is like a door slamming in your face. Yes, but every door you knock on teaches you how to knock better next time. You learn which doors are worth knocking on again and which ones aren't. And one day, after enough doors, you find one that opens. And that's when all the no's suddenly make sense. Rejection is also a mirror. It shows you what you need to work on. When you fail at something, instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," ask, "What can I do better?" That shift changes everything. The moment you treat rejection as feedback instead of failure, you turn it into your most loyal teacher. Every no carries information about timing, about skill, about strategy. But most people run away from that information because it hurts their ego. They protect their pride and miss their progress. The ones who win are the ones humble enough to say, "All right, that didn't work. Let me learn why. Let me give you a picture." Imagine you're shooting arrows at a target. Every arrow you miss brings you data. How far you were, what angle failed, what wind direction you ignored. Now imagine quitting after the first miss. You'd never learn to adjust. That's what most people do. They throw one arrow, miss, and walk away. But the master archer, they keep shooting, keep learning, keep adjusting. That's what rejection really is. It's data for your improvement. Every failed shot brings you closer to hitting the bullseye. The pain of rejection becomes the polish that sharpens your aim. But to truly fall in love with rejection, you must detach it from your identity. Rejection is about the situation, not your value as a person. If someone doesn't see your worth, it doesn't reduce your worth. It only reveals their vision. The world is full of people who rejected greatness because it didn't look great yet. Every great idea starts by being misunderstood. Every great dream begins as a joke in someone else's mouth. You have to be okay with that. You have to stop needing everyone's approval. Approval doesn't build dreams, resilience does. When people doubt you, smile, because doubt is the silence before applause. Here's something powerful. The more you get rejected, the less it hurts. Not because rejection becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You build emotional muscle. You stop seeing rejection as an attack and start seeing it as a test. you stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. Rejection toughens you. It filters you. It prepares you for the bigger opportunities ahead. Imagine if everything you wanted came easily. You'd never grow, never adapt, never appreciate the victory when it finally comes. Rejection is what gives success its flavor. Without it, winning would feel empty. So don't run from rejection. Collect it. Make it your badge of honor. The more you collect, the closer you are to your breakthrough. Every no builds character. Every setback builds stamina. Every failure builds wisdom. The most powerful people are not those who never got rejected. They're the ones who got rejected 100 times and still believe one more try could change everything. And usually it does. Let me tell you a truth most people don't want to hear. If you want to get whatever you want in life, you can't treat your work like it's someone else's problem. You have to own it. You have to put your name on it. Because when your name is attached to something, everything changes. You stop cutting corners. You stop doing just enough. You stop blaming others. You start asking yourself one powerful question. If this had my name on it, would I be proud of it? That question alone separates the average from the exceptional. Most people work for the sake of finishing, not for the sake of excellence. They show up, they clock in, they do the minimum, and they wonder why success doesn't show up for them. But success doesn't visit those who simply complete tasks. It visits those who care. The ones who work like their signature is written on every detail. Think about it. If you owned the company you work for, would you still do the bare minimum? Of course not. You'd think differently. You'd act differently. You'd give differently. Ownership changes behavior. It pulls out a level of passion and precision you didn't even know you had. That's what it means to work like it's your name on the line. You treat every small task as if the world is watching, as if your reputation depends on it. Because in a way, it does. People remember you not by what you promise, but by what you deliver. Every email you send, every design you make, every meeting you show up for, it's all building your personal brand. The question is, what kind of brand are you building? Are you the person people trust when they want things done right? Or the one they avoid because you do enough to get by? Your name is either becoming currency or it's becoming a warning label. When you work like your name is on the line, you stop needing motivation. You don't need someone to push you or watch you. You become your own supervisor. You stop working for applause and you start working for pride. You do things right even when no one's watching because your standard is internal, not external. That's where greatness begins, in the invisible hours. The effort nobody sees, the details nobody appreciates, until one day the results speak so loudly that everyone wonders how you did it. They'll call it luck, they'll call it talent, but you'll know it was ownership. Ownership also means responsibility. When things go wrong, you don't point fingers, you don't make excuses. You say, this is on me. And that's powerful because the moment you take responsibility, you take back control. As long as you blame others, you hand them your power. But when you own your mistakes, you gain the ability to fix them. That's how real leaders are made, not by avoiding failure, but by owning it, learning from it, and moving forward stronger. People respect those who take accountability because it's rare. Most people hide behind excuses. Be the one who stands up and says, yes, I messed up, but I'll make it right. That's how you build credibility. There's another secret to this mindset. It builds trust faster than anything else. When people know your name means quality, doors start opening. You don't have to chase opportunities. They start finding you. Because the world trusts those who consistently deliver excellence. Think about it. When you see a product or service with a certain name, you already have expectations based on reputation. Your name works the same way. Every job you do, every promise you keep, every challenge you face, it's adding value or taking it away from your reputation. So protect your name like it's your most expensive brand, because it is. But working like your name is on the line isn't just about hard work. It's about hard work. It's not about being busy. It's about being intentional. Anyone can put in long hours. Not everyone can put in focused, meaningful effort. Working hard without care leads to burnout. Working with pride leads to mastery. When you care deeply about what you do, people can feel it. It shows in your tone, in your work, in your results. Passion is visible. It has energy, and energy is contagious. That's why people want to work with those who care. Enthusiasm and ownership attract opportunity. And yes, it's not easy. There will be days when you're tired, when nobody notices your effort, when you feel invisible. But that's where your discipline kicks in. You don't work hard because people are watching. You work hard because you're watching yourself. You work hard because you respect your name too much to attach it to mediocrity. You work hard because you know one day all those invisible efforts will become visible success. Every small thing adds up. Every extra step compounds. Every hour of unseen work becomes a visible advantage later. So when you sit down to work, whether it's something small or something life-changing, ask yourself, if this project had my name on it forever, would I still do it this way? If the answer is no, do it better. Because one day, your name will be on it. Maybe not literally, but your results, your reputation, your legacy, they'll all carry your name. And that name will either open doors for you or close them. The choice is made every day, in the way you work, in the effort you give, in the pride you take. Let me tell you something few people understand. Winning is easy. Staying humble after winning, that's the real challenge. The world loves to celebrate success, but it often forgets to teach you what comes next. Pride is the silent killer of progress. The moment you start believing that your achievements define your worth, you stop growing, you stop learning, you stop listening. And the next thing you know, the world has moved on, and you're left trying to relive yesterday's victories. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking more about the bigger picture. It's remembering that no win is permanent and no success is entirely yours. Every time you succeed, take a moment to look back, not just at the hard work you put in, but at all the people, the circumstances, and even the failures that carried you forward. No one achieves greatness entirely alone. A teacher, a mentor, a friend, a competitor, they all shape your journey. When you acknowledge that humility becomes natural, it's not a performance, it's awareness. It's realizing that success is a combination of preparation, timing, opportunity, and the effort of everyone around you. Those who forget this start believing that the world owes them, and that's where arrogance sneaks in. Arrogance closes doors. Humility opens them. Humility also protects you from the biggest blind spot after success: overconfidence. When people win, they feel invincible. They assume the same strategies, the same habits, the same mindset that got them here will work forever. But life doesn't work that way. Success is temporary unless it's nurtured. Markets change, trends shift, people evolve, and what worked yesterday might fail tomorrow. A humble person doesn't get complacent. They celebrate, yes, but they also plan, adjust, and continue learning. Humility keeps your eyes open to risks and your ears open to feedback. Pride makes you deaf to both. Think about it this way: humility isn't weakness, it's strategy. The most respected leaders, creators, and innovators in history weren't just talented, they were grounded. They listened when others were speaking. They admitted mistakes when others hid them. They treated everyone with respect, from the janitor to the CEO. That respect builds relationships, loyalty, and trust, things money can't buy. And here's the catch: the moment you think you're above anyone, you lose the very connections that got you where you are. Humility protects your success and multiplies it. It turns wins into lasting influence. Another reason humility matters is that it fuels growth. When you're humble, you remain open to feedback, criticism, and learning. You admit, I don't know everything, and that mindset keeps you adaptable. Life constantly throws challenges, and the world never stops evolving. If you walk around thinking you've arrived, you'll get left behind. But if you stay humble, you're always preparing for the next challenge, always refining your craft, always evolving. Humility isn't just modesty, it's survival. It ensures that every win becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Humility also allows you to inspire others. People are drawn to those who achieve without arrogance. They want to follow someone who celebrates wins without forgetting where they came from. When you win humbly, you create a culture of respect and possibility. You show others that success is not about ego, it's about impact. You demonstrate that greatness is not defined by how loudly you shout your accomplishments, but by how quietly you continue working, giving and improving. That's the kind of legacy that outlives trophies, titles, or money. Finally, staying humble teaches gratitude. Every win, big or small, is a gift, a chance to grow, to influence, and to make a difference. The moment you forget to be grateful, you start taking things for granted. Gratitude keeps your heart connected to the reason you started in the first place. It reminds you that success is not a destination, it's a journey. And humility ensures that you enjoy the journey without being consumed by the applause. When you win humbly, you honor not just your efforts, but the efforts of everyone who helped guide it and challenge you along the way. So remember, this humility after victory isn't optional. It's essential. It keeps your feet on the ground while your vision reaches the sky. It turns short-term wins into long-term influence. It protects you from arrogance, keeps you learning, and ensures that your success doesn't isolate you, but connects you. When you win, don't let pride take the wheel. Let humility guide you. That's how you stay unstoppable, grounded, and always ready for the next great challenge. So now you know the formula, not as a secret handed to you, but as a path you can walk yourself. Decide exactly what you want and own it. Be bold enough to start, even when it feels foolish. Learn relentlessly as if the future depends on it, because it does. Fall in love with rejection, because every no is one step closer to your yes. Work like your name is on the line, because it always is. And stay humble when you win, because humility is what transforms success into legacy. The truth is, life doesn't hand out success to the lucky or the entitled. It rewards the persistent, the curious, the brave, and the humble. Every moment you choose clarity over confusion, courage over fear, effort over comfort, and humility over arrogance, you're moving closer to the life you've always imagined. So I challenge you today, take what you've learned here and go after your dreams with relentless energy. Knock on every door, embrace every lesson, and refuse to settle for anything less than what you truly want. The world won't wait, and neither should you. Your future doesn't exist in chance, it exists in choice. And the question is simple. Will you choose to get what you want, or will you let it pass you by? Go, start, learn, fail, work, stay humble. And in the end, you'll look back and realize you didn't just get what you wanted. You became the person who deserved it.